the Personal Spirit YouTube channel. So please subscribe if you're not subscribed yet, and today we'll be talking about immigration, relocation, moving to another city, moving to another state, moving to another province, or moving to another country. So when I'm working with decision-making processes, lots of my clients are working with, are coming to me with topic of relocation or immigration, moving to another city, moving to another country. And one of very common questions that I'm getting is, what about kids? It will be super dramatic? Will they learn a new language? Will they graduate from school? How it will be for them? And actually, this is a very common question, and of course, I can understand why you're so concerned about it, but older people are less resilient, let's say, and less flexible, and our adaptability skills in childhood are much better than they are when we are growing up. So for kids, immigration of course is also stressful, especially when kids already understand that they are like in another state or another country, and especially when there is a new language and differences in culture. For example, if someone is relocating to Japan, for example, because he got a job offer there, and everything is very different, and the culture is very different, and the language, even another alphabet. So of course it will be stressful, but it's not as dramatic as you imagine. And kids, of course, will learn a new language. The younger the child is, the easier will be the process of learning a new language. And you can think that it's something obvious, but sometimes I can hear my clients telling, I'm not sure I will take this job offer, or I'm not sure I will do this relocation, immigration, repatriation, whatever, because my child is already in the first grade, or my child is in preschool or kindergarten, and he made friends there. So no, it's a bad time to immigrate or to move to another place. And maybe sometimes we are trying to trick ourselves, and this is kind of an excuse that we say that I do want to immigrate, but I'm not immigrating because my child is in kindergarten. So yeah, it's we're very smart, and our mind is playing with us different games, and all we need to do is just to be sure that we are not playing those games, and we are honest with ourselves. We don't have to relocate anywhere, we don't have to immigrate anywhere, but we need to be honest with ourselves that we are not immigrating because our kids are at school or something like that. Personally, my family made a repatriation to Israel. What people say is to make aliyah in English Hebrew society. What people say, how they call it, but it's a repatriation. When we moved from Ukraine to Israel, I was 14. It wasn't easy. I'm not going to say that it was very easy. Of course, new language, new alphabet, and also we are writing in Hebrew from right to left and not from left to right. And the Israeli culture is very influenced by Middle East, and it's more religious than Ukrainian society, and there are so many differences, and the climate is very different. Everything was very different, but still, even in 14, it was somehow okay. I learned the language, I graduated school, I went to army and to university, and everything was okay. But what I want to mention, that if your child is like 15 years old, it can be a little bit problematic, because you know it's the time of graduation when all the exams, like 10th, 11th and 12th grade, where most of exams are there, and it's better not to switch schools in last a year or two. for high school students. It can be problematic and it can influence the results of the test, of the exams. So keep it in mind. If it's not something crucial and you can wait a year or two, and maybe it's better to wait, because of course if it's an opportunity that you will not have in a year or two, so maybe you need to immigrate. It's not an easy decision, but keep in mind that for high school students, immigration is a little bit tricky. It's better to immigrate before or after, of course, if there are such an opportunity. I also want to mention that my videos, this video and all other videos I'm posting, of course, it's not a legal advice. I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a teacher, I'm not a doctor, I'm not an accountant, and nothing I'm saying is a legal advice. It's not a call to action or a call of not to do actions. Everyone makes their own decisions. I'm just providing some thoughts, information, and sharing my personal and professional experience, and of course the decision is yours. Keep all those things in mind. And one more question I want to answer today is I want to make a short summary of the previous questions, that as younger the child is, it will be easier to immigrate or relocate, even if we're talking about learning a new language. But when we're talking about the same language, you may feel that moving to another place is like something stressful and something huge, but think that when you move to another neighborhood, your child is switching the school or kindergarten, but you don't feel that it's such a big deal. And this fact that it's another city or another state or another country, it's something psychological that makes you feel that it's such a huge, big change, especially in cases when the language stays the same language. For example, if you're moving from Texas to Boston, or from, I don't know, Seattle to California, wherever. When you're moving in the country and the language stays the same, for a child, especially for very young children, it will be not such a big difference as you may imagine, because you will deal with all those new things, like new city, new job, new neighborhood, maybe some new rules or things like that, or you need to find all new places where you shop, where you go out. You need to change license maybe. Like there's a lot of things going on for you, but for your kids, especially if those kids are small, not a really dramatic change as you may imagine. And of course, very important not to add stress to kids, not to make them feel that something huge and very stressful is happening. And even if in a new place you feel some, it's hard to accept for you that something changed, and you like some other things from your past better because you're more regular, familiar with them. Maybe not to talk too much about it with kids, and don't put those thoughts into their heads about how better our previous city of living or state of living or country of living was. Because they're absorbing everything, and they will absorb this information also, and they will maybe start like mirroring you, so be careful with that. One more question I want to answer today is, what city is a best city for family of 3 or 4 with kids and ages? For example, I got a question, I will read it to you. What city in United States can you recommend for family of three? I am 32, my husband is 38, and our child is 9 years old. So of course, all over United States, or all over Canada, or all over other countries and cities, there are families of the same age as you are, and they have kids. There is no one best place to live for everyone. I also like when people not really like, yeah? I'm sarcastic about it. When people are posting like somewhere on Facebook, what is the best city you recommend to move? and what answers they're getting. When you ask low quality question, you get low quality answer, and they're getting answers like just names of the city, and people are just writing their cities without asking anything about those people. Like, they're not asking what is like your professional field of interest, where will you work, what climate do you like, what is important for you, what are your deal breakers, why are you moving from your current place of living, what is wrong with it. I'm pretty sure that wherever you live there are other families of the same age as you are and with kids, but for some reason you want to move, and you need to understand better what are your priorities and where do you want to live. And there are so many different criteria, starting from climate and ending with some job fields that are just lacking in some areas, and you will just not find a job because you need to work in that specific field. There are a lot of things that really need to be considered before you move. And don't ask general questions online, because you will get very general answers that will not really help you. And even in Facebook, for example, if you're getting one answer that is very popular, it may be because in that specific group or page where you asked your question, just there are a lot of people from that area. For example, there can be a group that admin that opened the group lived, for example, in California. He invited his friends and them invited their friends, and then some people from other states joined. But of course there are more people from California than, for example, from Virginia in that group. And you will ask, you don't know this, of course, it's like a group, I don't know, American group, general American group about something, and you ask a question and you get so many recommendations to move to different cities in California and no recommendation to move, for example, to South Carolina or Virginia. Does it say that those states are bad states and California is the best state? Of course not, it's just statistics. There were more people from California and you got more answers from them. And they recommended what they know, their towns, cities, whatever. So keep it in mind, and I have two videos that are about where to move and how to choose your criteria. Those are videos 18 and 20 on my YouTube channel, Alina Miropolsky, the Personal Spirit Center channel. So video 18 will talk about moving and choosing more statistical criteria, and making like first search and understanding the data and the numbers about different areas. And video number 20 will talk more about personal preferences and how to choose something that will be more suitable for you personally. Wherever city, country, state, province you choose, I always recommend to check two things: crime rate and work. What is going on with unemployment rate? If unemployment rate is high, probably the crime rate will be also high. Like those things, they go like, you know, like tweaks, they go together. So yeah, I will start, probably recommend to everyone to start from checking to those things, and then think about what are your criteria, because you cannot check everything and there are endless things to check and search, and it's just something that we cannot do. But we need to know what are our main most important criteria and what are our deal breakers. It really helps to see a big picture. Of course, there is no absolutely perfect place. There are some things that we will dislike wherever we live, but in general we need to enjoy and like the place where we live. So I hope you will find it. Also, I have video number 25. This is a video where I'm talking about when you can make all those decisions by yourself and when you need someone's help in order to avoid procrastination or being stuck for a really long time. So if you're feeling that you're a little bit stuck, watch also this video. That's pretty all for today. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed yet, because I have some more questions that I'll be answering in future. Those questions are like, for example, should I move where I have friends, family, or relatives, or search by my personal criteria. Another question is, what would you recommend to someone who has few more months before he moves, how to get prepared. Another question is, should I move to bigger cities like New York or Toronto, or search for something else, and why? Another question is, can I find a work in a new country if I don't know a language of that specific country? So those questions that I'll be answering in upcoming videos and live streams. If you have additional questions that I didn't mention in this preview, so please just write them in comment section. I will just add them and answer them also. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, ring the bell. See you in the next video. Bye bye.